Welcome back again to the 12th End Sports Network's coverage of the 2018 U.S. Open of Curling, coming to you from the Four Seasons Curling Club in Blaine, Minnesota. This is Sean Murray here once again. Evan Jensen to my side.
Hello, Sean.
Morning. Those of you watching, we now bring you the semifinals of the U.S. Open. Our featured match is Team Kim from Korea versus reigning men's national champion Rich Ruonenrink. Team Kim has the hammer, playing the Redstones.
Team Kim won themselves a bye to this game.
They won their pool. And the other semifinal is Team Mike McCarville versus one of the teams we just watched win their quarterfinal, Team Scott Dunham. Team Kim is the only team that is undefeated so far. They won their pool with a 4-0 record. Winners of these two semifinals will meet at 2 o'clock in the championship final. We were a little late getting going with this draw. We had some issues with the ice, a little bit of damage caused by a soft spot or something. Scraper blade dug in, had to fill it and repair it, wait for it to freeze, but we're all good now. This is Phil Tilker for Team Ruonen. Very nicely played, right to the button, underneath the guard. Kim just looking for a heavy draw, going to try to tap this out of the forefoot. Get by, not quite by the guard.
Ooh.
Not a bad result though. Spins into the rings. Rich is gonna have to hit that. Does not have the hammer. First look at Croy Nurnberger, who's subbing on Team Ruonen this weekend in place of Greg Persinger. Normally, Colin Huffman throws the second stones.
This one over curling a bit.
Spins into the forefoot, gets under the guard. That's actually
not a bad spot.
That's a really good result from that one, actually. Not quite the way they drew it up, but it will do nicely. Greg taking a break this weekend. Rich himself has moved up to throw the last rocks. Greg normally throws last rocks. Colin moving up from second to third, and Croy just stepping in to throw second. And he holds the broom for Rich's skip rocks.
Not exactly what they were looking for there, but
doesn't move the Ruonen stone far enough to even be third. Ruonen is still sitting 2 without the hammer, and that shot stone is quite frozen against the one behind it. Rich content to just guard this situation right now.
Sounds like it might be a little deep.
Yeah, this is coasting further than they wanted.
Huh.
Comes to rest just outside of the rings. Pretty good spot. Maybe a hair tighter than they wanted, but not bad.
Korea looking to tap that yellow one in the back forefoot to dislodge their red rock.
Yeah, no doubt this situation right now is much more congested in the center than they would care for. Chips and bounces off, and Ruonen's still laying 2. Electing to have Colin throw a draw.
It's got room. They need to get it there.
Line is really good. Not quite going to get as far as they would have liked, but still in a pretty good position.
Pro side was definitely short on that one. Korea's got to clean some stuff up here to have a chance to get one in.
He initially motioned, driving one of the guards back into his top 4 stone. Maybe killing one of the yellows behind it. Just going to double peel the yellows, it looks like. That's a good call, too. Just to make sure he can see the forefoot in some manner. He really can't right now. Both guards successfully cleared. Early discussion about what to do now. No guards in play. Ruonen sitting 2, but they're both back of the forefoot. Talking about maybe playing a tap. You could tap it straight and sort of settle into that pocket.
They're also looking at the corner freeze on the center on that red.
You could do that and take away any angle into the middle. That's the most problematic stone for Ruonen, and it's really hard to hit that anywhere that'll help you. And also any hit on that would expose the 2 shot stones. I'm not really sure they want to do that. One of the things they have to be cognizant of is Korean Skip's big weight ability. We've seen him have a good success with throwing high hard ones and moving a lot of rocks. What they don't want to do is group theirs and leave him some kind of shot to blow a bunch out and score 2 or 3. Evan, any idea what you personally like in this situation?
I'm not sure. I kind of like tapping the yellow up behind the red a little bit, maybe. Try to get it just a little under so that the run for Korea isn't there.
Right.
Obviously, that's pretty precise to get it there.
Yeah.
Your shooter doesn't really do you any good after that either, though.
Right. And I know I personally don't especially care to disturb that top 4 red.
No.
I'd hate to make something for them.
Yeah, the freeze would be pretty ideal, but yeah, you don't want to risk pushing that red into the 4-foot for shot.
I know one shot I was looking at was maybe playing like a soft weight hit on the yellow onto the far left red and try and roll it in front of the other red, and then roll your shooter back to the center.
Oh,
I was kind of looking at that. That ice, it maybe looks like they're just playing a tap on that stone.
I think you're right. It's going to be Collins' last shot of the end.
Calling 9-10. Like they're trying to actually just hit the back one. Hit the back one and roll in front, which will be a good shot too.
Here we go.
Well, that's not quite what they called, but that works out well.
Still leaves a tap back for Korea here.
They can tap it into the pile, but they'll only be sitting 1.
Yep.
Yeah, I think maybe the call on that was the tap on that top 8 Yellowstone, but Colin just a little heavy. So they changed the call to hit and bounce in, and it's good communication there by the team to get something out of that shot.
Yeah, way better than just wicking on that yellow front or the top yellow and missing completely.
Or just like pushing it into the red or something like that, not hitting it where they wanted to.
Looks like they might be playing with quite a bit of weight here.
It looks like they're going to fire their own back into there, try and clear out a couple of these.
Sweeper's holding it. Get rid of 2, or move 2.
Worked out pretty good.
Yeah.
Leave themselves sitting shot as well as 3rd and 4th. No guards in play. I'm sure Ruinen is now a little bit concerned about giving up a big early score. Another long discussion.
Yeah, it's going to be tough to get that red off the button.
You really can't move it anywhere because of the way it's got the 2 behind it stacked up. And there's not really much of a hit to play that doesn't endanger their own second shot.
And they can't get enough of the left side of that top 8 red one.
Looks like they're going to play some kind of hit on that red. Maybe trying to hit it on the left side a bit as we're looking at it?
Yeah. I feel like it's a little risky to do that. You'd be better off almost just drawing down to the...
I was kind of looking, you need like the outturn draw.
Yeah, the outturn draw.
I was kind of thinking that myself. I mean, obviously that's not a gimme shot.
No, but it could at least outcount 1 or 2 of those.
And I think maybe what Rich is thinking on this is get rid of his own back and give him something in front of these that he can raise in with his last. Maybe he's thinking, I might leave them sitting 2 after this, but I'll have the stones in the control position.
It's close. Not too bad of an outcome. They're exposed a little bit on the left with options.
I'm wondering if that's more or less what Rich wanted. One thing we don't have is player mics, so we can't really hear the discussion all that good. He was hoping for a little more curl to try and, I think, spin the one he hit off a little bit. It just kind of stayed, leaves Kim sitting 2. Where that rolled to, there still really isn't a double on those reds either. I think Kim would probably be in good shape here if he just draws one, just nibble the top of the forefoot. Basically in the open, be sitting 3 and make Rich make a nice double just to cut the end down.
Oh,
not going to get by.
Is it
tough to tell if it's 3rd or not? I think it's
close. I think it might be red, but, well,
I don't
maybe
know.
not to that top yellow one.
Well, you've got 2 yellow ones that it might be out counting and it might not be.
I'm guessing Rich would probably gonna go for a tap back here.
I would say that's the best option. Probably tap the one on the left as we're looking at it. The one that's definitely 6th shot.
It's just a tad behind.
Yeah.
Is the best opportunity to not bounce off and just roll through.
Yeah, it's got no encumbrances in its way into the pocket behind it. Kind of go straight back, sort of bounce off the red a bit and roll towards the center, and that'll give you a pretty favorable angle. Won't really be able to use the red that's top 8 to get rid of it. Big shot here. Very interesting first end.
Oh.
Well, it doesn't quite get in there for shot, I don't think, but it's still pretty good where it is. Maybe it is shot. It's actually hard to tell. My first thought was that the red was still count.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's awfully close. Might come down to a measure either way. I think I see what one thing that Kim might be looking at. I wonder if you can slash that red super thin into it, kill it out the side, and the red behind that on the left might jam on the yellow that's right behind it. You could possibly maybe get 3 out of it if you hit it perfectly. You could also just tap it right to the button and take your chances on a measurement.
Wonder if it might be shot, the yellow one, since they're looking intently on trying to get it out.
If it's close enough. Well,
Yeah.
and the other thing is that whether it is or it isn't, if there's a shot at multiples, and even if it goes rather worse to give up as 1, they're not that
True.
concerned about it. I don't know.
If you, yeah, go ahead.
I'm kind of feeling that red slash, actually.
Yeah. What? The red slash could be risky if you hit the red into the red.
Well, if you hit the red into the red and triple yourself out,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously then you might give up 4.
Yeah.
So that would be kind of foolish. But, you know, play it super thin.
Yep.
You know.
It could even roll on. Yeah, you hit it sideways, it just rolls up in.
But I don't think that's what they're playing. I think.
Looks like you're just going to hit the yellow out.
Well, I think what he's going to do, he's going to hit the yellow as thin as he can. It's going to bounce off of the red that's first or second shot. Try to spin it out the side and count 2 that way with his third and fourth shot. This is also a possibility. And this also risks no more than 1. So this might be the smarter play than that red slash. Kim seeming to show a preference for the big weight shots when he can, and this certainly falls into that category. Shot like this, you have to hit it extremely thin. I'm wondering if it's got to skitter all the way out the other side of the forefoot to even count. Coming down now. I think he might have missed it. Just hitting his own, and now it's a question of which one is shot. And
oh,
it looks like if it was motioned correctly, it looks like it's going to be a steal of 1 for Ruohonen. So going on that, very busy, interesting first end results in 1 for Ruohonen. Kim will keep the hammer going into the second end, and we'll have that for you right after this. Phil Tilker's first shot of this second end. He's looking to go in, but this is a long ways heavy. Looks like it's going to go right through. So early miscue there. Team Korea will no doubt throw up the corner guard. Push to generate some offense.
good corner guard there.
Yep, nice position. We're just going to ask Phil to establish a center guard. No mistake there. Kim was going to ignore that and come around his own corner.
Playing really tight to that guard.
Just gets by. It's also got plenty of weight, so hoping it stops. It's going to slip just a shade behind the tee line. See how Rich wants to play this if he wants to follow it. Could come around the center if you wanted to.
Selected to follow it.
Probably a good play for now. He can set himself up as shot stone and in a position where another freeze to it would be really tough to do. Coming out 10, so pretty heavy.
Ooh, they're saying through.
Ooh, ooh boy.
Not a good start after stealing one last
No,
end.
that's two of the first 3 shots have gone through the rings for Team Ruinen. Kim opting to split the rings, going to draw one to the open side. Probably going to try to get Team Ruinen to play a couple of hits, and if they get a rollout at some point, a few shots down the line, maybe they will go under their guard again. Concerned with where that one is, it does leave a cross-house double. You'd have to throw a lot of weight to make that. It's such a long roll. There's a couple of nice places you could roll with this. You can roll that under your center. You can roll all the way over just in front of that red as well. So playing control. Looks like they're just going to try to roll into the center.
Probably the safer bet.
Definitely an easier shot. Kind of rolls to the worst possible spot directly behind that Korean rock. Korea's still sitting one. They're going to split the rings again. We try to go a little deeper this time and not leave that same roll. That's where they wanted it the first time. Perfectly even. The real option is to try and roll behind the center. They'll be behind the tee line, but they've got to try to get action away from the wings here.
This one's moving.
Oh,
they're gonna barely ticked it.
Boy, oh boy, did that curl. Barely hit any of it. Rich is kind of shrugging his shoulders, saying, I don't know what happened to that. I think Colin threw it pretty good. He just got caught on a swingy path, or at the risk of sounding like Russ Howard, maybe it caught some fresh pebble.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but that phrase bugs me, fresh pebble. I don't like to say that.
This one looking a little lighter.
Working it real hard. As much as it's curling, it may get the house, but not even be second. Ooh, that's short of the rings. So with that little miscue there by Korea, Rich is thinking to have Colin play to the other side, try to come down and freeze on that red. If they ever just tap it a few inches, could be sitting 2. But, what you don't want to do is do that and then bounce off into the open. So ideally just T-line weight, freeze right up to that Korean rock.
It's going to be close.
Line is pretty good. It's all about weight.
It's going to be a hair heavy.
Tap it and roll to the back, and
I think they are sitting 2.
He may have just barely, yeah. Oh man, is it close? I don't know. The handle colors can themselves be deceiving in perceiving how wide the rock is, so it's super hard to tell.
Kim's got an option for a double here.
Yeah, you make contact with the shot stone, roll over. You just have to
tap it.
Just make any contact at all on that second yellow, and you'll be sitting 2 for sure. Wouldn't be anything wrong with just coming down into that pile either, but the way the guards are staggered, it's kind of tough to do. So I like hitting. Don't need to throw a bunch of weight at this either. Just like I think control would do just fine here. Only have to move that yellow half an inch to be sitting 2. Needs to move.
Looks like they're just gonna get the nose.
Just nose. Yeah, doesn't really roll anywhere.
Yeah, Rich looking for just a hit and roll back to the center.
Wonder if he thinks he might be second shot back there. Seems like that call is what he would do if he thought he was second. Definitely wants to roll away, get away from his other yellow in there. But be careful as you don't hit this so thin that you'd actually tick that yellow possibly out of second shot. Crow was briefly talking about that there might be a red double off of their own, but Rich doesn't like it, waves it off. Goes with the original shot.
It's going to be close. Too much roll. Actually rolls
almost out of the rings, yeah. Rich just saying too much weight. He hit it more or less where he wanted to, just too hard. Wish we could be sure who was shot.
I think they're going to draw right down to it and try to just poke it out. And like you said, any contact on that yellow one is going to move it out.
I thought they motioned just to freeze on their own.
Oh, was it just a freeze?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, it's that's a pretty tough shot to tap that one there, and a good freeze here will still give them a good chance at 2, and that's all Kim's looking for. If it should happen to track on them or maybe be a hair heavy, certainly they can change the call to do that.
Line looking pretty nice here. Looks like they will get back to the yellow one.
Yeah, I think that's what they're playing. Oh, nice little change of the call there. No question now, Korea's sitting 2. Question becomes, how best does Rich feel like dealing with this situation?
They could try to hit and roll just to the outside a bit, leave an open draw.
Yeah, I think he's thinking if he hits that, rolls to the right, leaves his stone kind of biting the 8-foot a little bit. That same kind of tap for 2 won't be there because the yellow just tap will be in the way of it. Just going to hit on the nose. That leaves Korea a more or less open hit to pick up 2. A much easier shot for 2 this end than Kim had last end. Looks like he's got no mistake on this one.
Oh, perfect.
Right on the nose, gets 2. He's going to take a 2-1 lead into the 3rd end. Ruonen will get their first crack with hammer. We'll have that for you right after this. now for the start of the third end. Team Kim picks up the first 2 of the game, leads 2-1 over Ruinen. Ruinen has the hammer playing the third, throwing yellow. Sheet B nearest us, it's a measure to see if Team Dunham has potentially scored 2. They've definitely scored 1. Measuring for second right now. Looking for the hit. Probably try to roll back to the center. It will not. Stone is not in the rings. So it looks like the measure was indeed for 2. So Dunham ties up their game at 2-all. Looking for the come around on the center.
It's going to be a little deeper than they were hoping for, I think.
Yeah, it's going to go a little behind the tee line. Rich just trying to get it out of the way as much as he can.
Peeks out on the left. Kim electing to hit it.
Right to the nose, just about. Good shot. They've actually gotten just a fraction of a flip inside. Croy is going to look to draw down to that stone.
It's going to be close here.
Line looks pretty good too.
Might be a little short. There it goes.
Very nice.
To sit 1 buried.
Stone is pretty much dead buried, but there's enough curl in this ice that you can still hit that with the right kind of weight. That's what Korea's going to try to do. Just throw like maybe hack. Hit all they can and roll open.
So it needs to curl a little bit more.
They might get just a little piece. They're going to lose the shooter, but they at least get it out of shot stone position. Pretty good. See the same shot. about 8, 9. That's pretty heavy. It's trying to get over there. It will just carve and stop in time, and it does. Probably is behind the tee line. That gives another stone for Korea to just come and sit in front of. You could even come down and sort of tap that a shade and level the two behind it and make a wall.
Sweepers like the weight.
Needs to curl some, I think.
It's going to be close.
I think he's got a pretty nice shot there.
Oh, yeah, little tap. Dislodged him.
Very nice. Now any play on that stone is going to affect the yellow behind it, probably without affecting the other red.
Looks like Rich is going to have Colin just throw another little tap here. Move things around a bit.
I think the idea here is to get that yellow out of the way. Save it in the rings. Leave this one in front of the two reds so that they can be dealt with later. You want to make sure this one stays in front of the reds. You don't want to roll off.
Corey sweeping for some curl here.
It's actually getting inside the face. It's a pretty nice shot. I think it leaves Korea sitting 1, but still a nice, really nice shot.
Kim asking for just a top house shot to guard up their shot rock.
Motion to like kind of come down and sort of freeze on that yellow, kind of corner up to it a bit. For a bit of weight on this. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh, man, now who's shot? Oh, boy. We don't have a zoom on the overheads. We can't get all the way in there. I think you might see a run back coming because it's far too congested with far too many apples in there for Rich's liking. Question is, where's everything going? I think more or less straight back is probably the best. You'll lose the top red. You'll lose the possibly shot rock red. Hopefully lose the one you're running back. You may or may not save the Yellowstone that's in there. It's hard to be sure. But the way this is set up right now really isn't much good. The angles in there aren't very good for Rich and the guys. Imagine this one's probably going to be steaming. Got a lot of granite in there to move. Close. Oh. Actually, just hits the back red. Doesn't lose anything in the middle. Still rolls to his center. Alan's not going to like that. He's not very happy with how he threw that one. If I had to guess, I'd think that red is still the count. I think.
Yeah, it's close.
It's really, really close.
So I think he's just going to try to draw one down on top.
That's kind of what it looks like. Wouldn't be terrifically wrong to just maybe throw a guard, too. Just going for top house.
Sweeper's going for weight already.
This is really moving. I don't think it's as deep as they want.
Yeah. Still accomplishes the same thing.
Yeah, stops in time to block off any play on that side and just barely overlaps with that yellow center guard, making any kind of run back very hard. They're talking about if you can just play a back house and actually bump that red out of shot, roll away, and leave himself sitting one. One way to go about that would be to just move it, say, not quite a foot just to the left corner as we're looking at it, line it up with that yellow and make that yellow pretty much impossible to remove. Problem there is, where is your shooter going? You need to get it well away from the 4 foot to not leave Kim some kind of big weight in off or double.
Looks like Rich might just be trying to freeze up into that red one. He's tapping there, yeah. Probably going to try to tap it a little bit.
Really moving.
Looks like they're by the guard.
By the guard, what's going to happen once
I
it
think
gets
they're going to
in there?
rub that top red one, though.
Ooh.
Oh, and red is definitely sitting shot now.
Oh, man, he didn't want to do that. Did not want to do that. That's a disaster. Kim can throw some smoke, come off of that one. There's room to slide right in between his own, punch that yellow out to the side. Sit 3 all in a line. Might even lose that back yellow too, and boy, if that's successfully made, I don't think Rich is going to have a shot to score. Might not even have a shot to do anything but cut him down to 2. necessarily have to throw an absolute missile at this. You can just throw solid, normal, or firm. It's all about where you hit it.
It's got to hit pretty thin not to hit their own top red one on the roll. It's close. Sweeping for some curl.
I don't think it's going to roll as much as they wanted, though.
Oh.
Ooh. Actually kind of chipped off of the top one and spun directly forward. That red is definitely one. Kim may be sitting 2 after that. My guess is that they are sitting 2.
Not sure what options Rich has here.
Oof.
He can't see much of the forefoot.
Well, and one thing he's got to be very careful of is that he doesn't really disturb that yellow. Because if he does and it goes flying away, he might give up more than 2. I think his best option is I think he's looking at just playing some kind of a tap on the red, onto the yellow, maybe get one of those reds out of there and cut it down to 1. I don't see any options for Rich to score, because that would involve moving that top one, and that's not going anywhere.
Those guards are just staggered enough that they can't utilize their yellow center guard.
And even if they could, I don't think it would be advisable to do
No,
so. It's just way too easy to disturb their own Yellowstone, and then it's making it so they're sitting at worst 2 against. So I think he's going to throw just a heavy draw, make as much contact with the 4th shot red as he can into the yellow, try and push the back red out of the button area, and cut this down to a steal of 1. I don't think he can actually get in there to score. I'm pretty sure that top red is actually just hovering over the edge of the pin. Pretty ugly shot to be thrown any way you slice it.
Yeah. Calling back house weight.
That's the absolute best he could do. Cuts it down, gives up only a steal of 1. Definitely could have been worse the way that end had gone. So with that steal, Kim is going to extend his lead to 3-1. Roonan will still have the hammer in the 4th end. He'll be looking to get 2 to tie it up. And we'll have that for you right after this. Back for the start of the 4th end. Very busy end. Results in a steal of 1 for Team Kim from Korea. They now lead 3-1. Team Roonan still has the hammer. Playing yellow. This first one by Korea checks up a little short, just grabs the top of the 12-foot. Rich and Phil will ignore that and throw up the corner guard.
Probably a little deeper than they wanted, but still out of the house.
Still in a good spot. See where Kim wants to put this. This first one really isn't where he wanted it. Might be just be going around it. Yeah, looks like they're just going to go around it. Got to go to get it by. It just makes it, but it's got to stop.
Sit back 8 foot.
Just stop back 8 foot. See, might see Rich maybe follow that. Could just go around his corner too. Around the corner. Well past the guard. This needs to check up.
So I'm sneaking into the back 12.
Will stay for second, though. So that's pretty good.
It looked like Kim wanted to hit that guard, but realized that 5 rock rule.
Right.
You can't hit it yet.
Can't deal with that guard yet. Man, if only it was still the 4 rock rule. No, sir.
So he's going to try to draw around and follow Rune and Yellow Rock.
Of course, if for some reason they did still play that shot and that guard went left from play, everything would go back to the way it was.
Got around with enough space between the guard. Just wanting to get back to it.
Oh, that's pretty much perfect.
Yeah, great shot. Rich going to play the same shot.
Yeah, Kim's hitting 2, but the one advantage for Ruinen is that they're both behind the tee line, and there's not a particularly dangerous center guard to worry about. So not really a scary situation for them at the moment. Croy going to try to follow the same path and freeze down to that red on the left side.
This one's got enough weight. Needs to curl. It'll be enough.
You don't want to roll off, though.
Kim looking to hit and roll to the left.
Trying to decide if I like that or not. I'm actually wondering about maybe rolling just a bit towards the middle, leaving it wide open, but just rolling kind of like a rock to the right.
I mean, they don't have hammers, so
yeah,
getting out to the wings really doesn't give them an advantage.
Well, I think another stone out to the wings is just going to be another thing for Rich to come down and freeze to over there. He wants play over there. I would kind of think you'd roll back kind of where the broom is.
So it needs to curl a bit.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be staying. I don't think so. actually breezes right past it. Oh, my. I think I like that, too.
I would agree.
It's a little awkward to do much else. I mean, as Rich says, if you go into the corner again, you're probably not going to be sitting 2. Not really worth it to attempt hitting that back one. You're just going to have 2 behind the tee line then. So just going to play the straight draw underneath that top 12-foot biter.
Have a little backing if need be. Saying top house. Needs to curl quite a bit yet.
As long as they're close to that red, it shouldn't leave any kind of double, I would think.
There it goes.
Just gets by. Needs to sit for a bit now.
Great shot by Croy.
Very nice, very nice. So now looking to follow that stone, just cozy up to it. Definitely can't afford to overthrow this and bounce off it all.
This one also hanging out a little bit. There it goes.
It's got perfect line if the weight's right.
Couldn't get much better than that. Are they even shot?
I don't think so.
That's all right.
Looks to me like the yellow might still barely be shot, but it's in a really good position nonetheless.
Rich looking at taking off that top guard and rolling.
And I think part of the reason for doing that is because their yellow that's in the 4-foot right now is kind of lined up onto the red back there. So this will give them an open look at that Korean stone just placed there, and they can clear that and count themselves at least 2 if they get the chance. They'd like to try and get this one in the house too.
This one's curling quite a bit.
Oh, gotta go hard for a piece.
Well, he's got it. How far will it roll, though? Will it roll back for...
Back in...
I don't know if it's out counting that back red one or not. It's really close.
I would have to guess probably not, but it's pretty tough to be sure.
Kim with a few options here.
Yeah, I think this one he's looking at is probably the best hitting third shot.
Yep.
He's gonna force Rich to deal with his stone that's at the top of the 4-foot. That's tough to deal with. This kind of shot call is dictated by the luxury of being up 2.
This one's not even going to get back to the nose.
Go into the back of the forefoot a bit, which isn't bad.
No.
The team having a conversation about what best to do. I still think they're actually shot on the side of the button there. It's very close, but I think they are one. But that stone that's right next to it in the top of the 4 is just causing them all kinds of grief. And it's tough to deal with without moving their own.
Looks like they might be thinking about just trying to slash it off without touching theirs. Just trying to pick it, but man, that's risky.
That is very hard. That red that's back there, it's a 4th shot, is almost in a catcher's position for that yellow if they tried that, but not quite. I think the yellow would hit it, but would still skitter out to the side, out of play.
Well, they're gonna hit it.
They're gonna make a go of it. My best guess is that Colin's going to try to pick this clean. It might direct over onto the situation at the back left corner there, but it doesn't really matter all that much. I suppose if you hit it absolutely perfectly, you might actually clear that red off the face of the yellow. Try to bring those 2 on the side into play, but I think mission 1 is to get this red out of the way.
Close.
Oh.
Oh.
Actually hit it so thin they managed to touch both of them. But definitely didn't work out the way they wanted. Ended up killing one of the reds back there, removing the backing, and left themselves shot, but Kim can hit this really anywhere, and pretty sure he'll be counting 4, 3 at the least. Looking like it's going to be pretty tough for Ruinen to score 2 now. We've got a question in the chat about if there will be a broadcast of the men's challenge round next week. The web stream will be up and running. It'll be set up to be just live broadcasting sheet C, both ends simultaneously. There is no plan for commentary. Possibly on ice sound. That part is to be determined yet. But yes, there will be streaming, but you'll just be watching both ends of the ice with no commentators.
Just a hit roll to sit in front of their own.
Sitting what I think is probably 4. What you're going to see Rich do here is try to freeze on that stone angled slightly towards the center to where that any hit attempt would drive his stone over to the situation on the left. Try to make it really hard to remove this. Doesn't need to be very sharply angled. I'm just thinking inch and a half towards the center will be just about perfect. It'll be really difficult to get that out without having it stuff on something on the side. is not good.
Needs to move over to catch a piece.
Oh, a bounce off really isn't going to be of service here. Oh. Just too much weight.
Looking for another hit and just roll right on the front of their others.
Yeah, nose hit to be fine.
Yeah. For them, it doesn't really matter at this point.
Yeah, little roll to the broom side would probably be the best.
Yep.
Rich is going to have a more or less open shot no matter what you do. They have to go for this to stay. Makes the hit, but it's going to roll almost out of the 8-foot. So it's a draw against either 4 or 5, but really nothing in the way. So not as scary a shot as you think. Not that it's ever exactly a comfortable place to ever be throwing a draw against 5, but
no.
At least these are all behind the tee line and there's no guards to have to negotiate. All you need to do is touch the 4-foot.
It's close. Sweepers like the weight.
I think they've got the line onto the backing if they need it, so it looks like a pretty good shot here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no mistake. Great pressure draw there from Rich Ruonen. Picks up 1. He's going to hand the hammer back to the Korean team under Kim. They'll have a 3-2 lead in hammer. Start of the 5th end, and we'll have that for you in just a minute. Finding themselves behind on the scoreboard and without benefit of hammer. Team Ruonen is going to turn up the aggressiveness, throw in the center guard to begin. Drifts a little tight to the rings, but still in a good spot. Team Kim looking for the come around. Just sneak by. Settles in very nicely in the top of the 4-foot. Phil Tilker will look to follow that stone and play the freeze. really good on this.
Just by the guard.
Nice shot. Pretty much exactly where Rich wanted it. Kim now looking to play the center guard tick with his lead's second stone. Maybe, well, could be switching to the freeze. Yep. Running like it's got a bit of extra weight.
Looks like they switched to going around him.
Trying to not chip off. Oh, man. What a brilliant call adjustment to just not chip off of anything, go around and get fully buried behind a stone in the top 4 foot. That's just really smart heads-up play.
Richie left with just a freeze on the button.
Not a terrific amount of room for this one.
No.
Go for line on this one. Oh, line was perfect, just not quite enough weight. Still pretty good where it wound up.
Yeah, tough to get rid of that without losing that back red one.
Yeah. Realizing they probably need to deal with that center guard now that they can.
I was kind of thinking, given that it was Rich's guard up there, he could have played the run back. You can always hit your own guard.
Well, you could.
But obviously he doesn't want to lose a center.
Well, right, and given the fact that he's behind and doesn't have hammer, he'd rather leave that there. So based on this ice, they could just be playing a hit and roll. Get the guard off, maybe roll into the rings.
It looks like they're playing a control weight. Yeah, just going to tap it.
It just basically works like a heavy tick, but gets the guard out of the way and rolls both in the rings, but the Korean stone is slightly better, so I believe that's more or less what they wanted. Korean team is the odd shots, first, third, and fifth. Ruining the even, second, fourth, sixth.
Richie looking at either just a tap back or a long hit and roll off the right red one.
If they weren't behind, I think you could maybe see them play a short yellow red double.
Yeah.
But I don't think he wants to. It's pretty early to play a shot like that. Last thing he wants is for Kim to get out of this and with a blank. I think they talked about dropping one just short of that situation in the 4 foot.
Definitely not heavy.
I think their objective was to actually guard that high yellow.
Okay.
Because where that one is, it's a little more difficult to deal with. There is a super thin pick through the hole maybe on that yellow. Well, if there's a hole, I'm not sure that there is.
I don't know if you could get that yellow one out without rubbing off one of the red ones.
Another reason for Rich wanting to protect that yellow that's top 8 is that the way it's lined up, if you make a contact on it, it's probably going to kill both the reds, and he's maybe hoping to see if Korea could be tricked into some kind of run back to where they might do that.
Oh, coming with some heat.
It's like they're going to try the thin pick of the second shot stone. Well, end up losing the back one, but still pretty good result.
You're going to play a little tap on that yellow?
Yeah, that's what Colin was saying. Get to as much of this yellow as you possibly can. Tap it, try to move that red behind the tee line. Can't really throw much more weight than that anyways.
No.
Other option they talked about was maybe just drawing around everything to the back of the forefoot, which is fine as long as you're shot, but it's kind of disastrous if you're not. Oh.
Colin changing his mind.
Yeah, he's talking about that other shot. He's talking about going behind all that.
If made, Korea would have the option to draw right down to it. Just freeze up on it. But
yeah, Rich didn't seem to mind this call. He was okay with either one. This is probably the easier of the two shots. But I would also say it's probably a little less margin for error on this if you happen to slip deep.
Deep or not curl enough.
Yeah, if it lines up sitting open.
They really don't want to leave something for Korea to hit and roll on. Looks close. Line looks nice. Just got to sit, though.
Well,
just barely.
Does just barely sit for shot.
Korea's left with peeling the guard.
Yep. Yeah, I figured you might see this if that was made. They want to have some kind of open pass at the center. Trying to catch the side one, maybe.
I do.
Just stuffs. Still leaves it in the rings, but that Korean stone over on the far right is definitely fourth. The only problem with them drawing that stone back four is that it's now very hard to remove the Korean second shot without taking that back one with it. Rich doesn't really like throwing a guard on this because Korea could come down with the outturn, tap that yellow back, and be sitting 2. Rich talking about hitting that Korean stone on the far right and rolling in to sit 2nd, 3rd, 4th.
Looks like they're going to go for the guard.
Yeah, looks like Rich has been talked into it a little bit. Looking into throwing the guard, but they don't want to be dead covering the stones in the house. Just in case Korea does come around, Rich wants to have some kind of option with his own that's in the top 8 foot.
Sweepers are not liking it too much. Here checks up a little bit.
Pretty much what they want. I think Colin might have liked to be a couple feet short of that. Kim's looking at the angles if he can clear a few with one shot. He's wondering if he hits it on the nose, can he lose everything? Straight back, I think the concern is it's going to hit the top 8 foot yellow on the right, and it might carry him over into the Korean stone on the right side of the sheet. That's what they're talking about. So they're going to have a chat about what to do here.
Looks like they're going to go for the run back.
It's all about where they hit this. I don't know if they want to slash it over the top or just drive it straight back. I'm thinking they'd probably like to slash it.
Yeah, I'm sure they don't want to risk that guard going off into their one on the right.
I think the idea for them now is just to make sure they have an open shot to at least score one this end. They don't want to give up a steal.
They're just going to peel it.
Oh, just a straight peel. Okay. Now up to a weekend record of 114 folks tuning in. Glad y'all could join us. Sean Murray, Evan Jensen, Four Seasons Curling Club, Blaine, Minnesota, the U.S. Open of Curling. These are the semifinals. Team Kim from Korea versus reigning national champion Team Ruonen. One semifinal. The other semifinal, Scott Dunham versus Mike McCarville. Just starting the 6th end over there, and Dunham leads by a score of 4-3. Our game, it's a 3-2 Team Kim lead. Kim has a hammer. Corey and Rich having a protracted discussion about what to do.
Looks like they're going to just try to draw one down in.
I don't know if they're going to do that or just throw another guard, maybe.
Oh, set it up short.
Yeah, I think you might see him throw a guard here.
This is his first shot.
Yeah, and then Kim is going to have to decide if he wants to just get in there for count, knowing that even if he does, Rich is going to follow him in and shut down the scoring area and force him to 1.
on guard weight. You're saying it's a 3, which is a tight guard, close to the house.
He gives the sweepers a break by just putting it there naturally. Kind of what I was thinking that Kim might do is he's going to try to get in there to get shot, but he only wants to just be shot, like just biting the top of the button. You go any deeper than that, you're going to leave Rich an opportunity to follow you in and freeze. Most definitely don't want to be all the way down to that back one.
No.
Give Rich a chance to freeze and actually be shot.
It's going to be close. It's got room.
Line looks pretty good as long as the weight's good.
It looks a tad heavy from this angle. Well, there it goes. Checks up a little bit.
Pretty hard to do any better than that. Now what Rich needs to be careful of is that if he leaves that one open, Kim could probably bump it into their back 4 yellow and maybe pick up 3. So Rich is just going to throw the guard. Successfully guards and leaves that tight yellow guard open. I wonder if you might see Kim try a long double tap. Yellow, yellow, red to maybe get a second point. All depend on where this stops. One thing you can't afford to have happen on this is an overcurl. You can't leave any of that red just placed there exposed.
Weight looks pretty good. Need to let it curl up a bit here.
Really, the idea is you're cutting off the slash line. You're not trying to guard it directly.
Yeah. I'm actually going to get up and tap it just to... Oh, no, just short.
Ooh. I don't know if it's maybe lined up onto that back one. Seems like it'll at least make contact. If you hit that on the nose, real question is, are they tight enough that you can cause any drag effect? Get that yellow to stick on that, get that red rather to stick on the yellow back there any good?
Could be a shot for 3.
Potentially, potentially.
I think it's probably worth the attempt.
I don't think that red is going to completely miss the yellow back there. I'm not seeing that.
It should catch it.
I think it would just at least catch it.
Yeah.
The thrown stone and the top 4 stone would end up staying for 2.
Yep. Not giving a whole lot of broom here.
I think he's going to throw this nice and hard.
Looks like a normal up kind of weight.
Not throwing huge weight.
Sweepers are on it. Oh.
And it just barely doesn't stay for 3rd, but good shot just the same. Kim is going to pick up 2. going to extend their lead over Ruinen to 5-2. Ruinen's going to get the hammer back in the 6th, but they've got some work to do down 3. We're going to have that for you right after this. So with a 3-point lead, Korean team elects to put the first rock into the house and stops just short of the tee line. Team Ruinen needing to get some offense going in a big way. He's going to throw up the corner guard. Korea deciding to bring a second stone into the top of the rings. Looking like it's got a little bit of extra weight.
Looks like it might end up right. Oh, just a little tap.
It's just down to it.
They're talking about either coming in or putting another guard up. Richie doesn't like coming in yet.
I think I agree with that. They really got to get to at least to this end. And coming in this early is going to complicate that a bit. So electing to draw a guard to the other side. Sweepers don't seem particularly happy with it. It works out well.
Puts it just even.
Pretty much level with the other one. 5-rock rule, you can't peel those yet.
Kim looking at putting up a center guard in front of his own.
Pretty much perfectly placed center guard over those two. Definitely have to deal with these. Looks like he's going to have Croy throw big weight, try to clear some of these and roll to the side. Croy makes a nice shot, gets rid of all of them.
Oh, what a beaut.
Leaves his own up there and as something that could be hid behind. Now Korea going to switch to defense now that they can start peeling guards. Try to get more than one. Oh, just get the one.
Richie looking at either drawing under the corner or the split of that center guard.
Neither one is wrong. I kind of like saving that split for later, I think.
I think I would agree. You can get one buried and either force Kim to try to deal with it or clear out the guards.
Yeah.
That'd be better. This early on in the end, at least.
Right. I think figure you get one buried now. They try to rip the guard. Maybe they only get one. You can go around another guard. Still have a decent chance of at least two, if not three.
Super's got to go for weight here. Is it even going to make it to the rings?
No, it doesn't. Comes up short of the rings.
Kim looking at the double peel here.
The back one, maybe.
Oh, wow.
That was really hard to do, to just shave one without removing any of them.
And now I kind of like the split off of that wide one.
Well, because you can get them both under cover.
Yeah.
You can tap that one underneath the guard to the right, roll the shooter off to the left.
They get it. They don't really get either one of. Oh, ooh.
They're both on. The only problem is they didn't really push the first one in quite far enough. Didn't get it under the guard. And they're sitting two, but they did leave a thin double. Great shot, just the same. Those are not easy. hitting maybe a quarter of this first one. Pretty close. No mistake.
Nailed it. And sits half buried.
Oh, man, that's just not even fair almost. It's so good.
Might even be about 2/3 buried from the hack. Richie calling a freeze on that one in the top 4.
Shot there from Colin.
Looks like we might have another measure on sheet B. McCarville had a draw for 1. Skated just a little deep, ticked off the Dunham stone, and they're measuring to see who scores.
Pretty tight. Both stones are about half in the button. Team Korea discussing what to do with this situation. Potentially make an argument for maybe throwing a guard.
He put his broom down to freeze up to it.
Freeze up to the yellow?
I thought he tapped his broom right in front of his red.
Okay. You could do that, yeah.
Pro side being short, of course.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
It was a score of 1 for McCarville there. That game is now tied up 4-all after the 6th.
Looks like they are playing the guard, just trying to cross, basically guarding the yellow.
That's a good spot.
Successfully made. Saying, I'm going to make you work for your deuce. The yellow is well over buried now. I don't know that you can throw a bunch of weight and actually get to it and move it. And even if you do, I don't really know if that helps you that much. I don't think you're ever going to be able to throw enough weight to actually bump it into the red and move the red anywhere. I just don't think it's possible.
I think they're looking at running that center yellow one back into it. That angle just isn't really in their favor.
No, it's not.
They'd be better off trying to redirect off of the outside yellow one.
Or actually maybe straight run the red.
Yeah.
Into a piece of the yellow. I know Croix signaled a shot that I kind of like, which was drawing half under their center and leaving themselves another angle into the red.
Okay. Yeah, this is Richie's first. Yeah, this will be Richie's first rock.
So I think, based on this, I think Richie's actually going to play to run his guard into their own stone into the red. Try to bounce the guard stone off the yellow and over to the side underneath that yellow corner.
Depending on how they hit, they might both roll that far.
Definitely a hard shot. This is one way of giving Rich at least a chance for two.
Shooting for line. Oh, what a peach.
Oh, man. Are you kidding me? You can't do any better than that. What a shot.
To sit to.
Oh, my goodness.
Half buried.
Oh.
Well, maybe only
neither stone
buried,
is fully buried, but just the same.
Yeah.
What a fantastic shot. That was so hard.
Kim looking to hit and roll under the left yellow. They're just going to overroll.
That rolls just a bit too far.
Leaves Richie with a...
basically open hit for two.
Yep.
Set up by a massive first shot. Not just to hit that correctly, but you couldn't throw a lot of weight and hold everything. I mean, to make that kind of shot with basically just like a heavy control, that's just wizardly. A little panic, finishes up hard, no problem. A very hard-earned two. Team Ruinen narrows the deficit to 5-4. They're going to give the hammer back to Team Kim. Kim's going to have that hammer in a 1-point lead. 2 ends left. We'll see the 7th end right after this. No. Usually most every game is Joe and I, and I'll never do it 2 or 3 games. I'll just run the dark ice cameras for something different to do. Rotate out a little bit. So back for the 7th end. Kim having a 5-4 lead. They have the hammer. Ruonen would desperately like to steal, or at the very worst, force Kim to 1. Phil Tilker throws a center guard, and Team Korea throws the come around, which comes out the other side of the guard.
Richie asking for another center guard by Phil.
Settles into a pretty good spot there for Phil. You're going to see Korea just play the come around again.
Looks like it's got quite a bit of room.
Needs to finish hard.
This is going to sit in the open.
Yeah, it doesn't quite get where they want.
Richie could play the hit and roll.
Could also just play like a heavy draw and chap off of that one.
Yeah.
That's what he's looking at.
I like that call.
So
looking for about hack weight.
Yeah, Colin and Croy saying that they'd like to make sure that they get this out. And to do that, yeah, you got to throw probably hack. But if you cross the face with hack, you'll probably make a good roll too.
Mm-hmm. Sweeper's calling this board. Needs to curl a bit here. There it goes. Oh, might actually curl a bit much.
Actually made it curl too much.
Wow.
Oh, man.
Still somewhat covered, and Kim's going to take care of the guards here.
And if you hit this just right, I think it's possible you could make every yellow fly. Hit the top yellow a little bit on the right.
Yeah, it's just going to
just the one.
pick the one. Richie looking at drawing one in. Guessing if they make that, Kim will probably just rip off that other top guard.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they know that he's just going to start peeling. They don't want to risk setting up a double of some sort, so they want to get another one in there.
Looking pretty good.
Pretty nice shot.
Right to the pin. going to pick the top.
Not quite going to get the stuff in the rings.
Oh, and they leave their guard, too. Or their shooter as a guard.
That's a corner guard. Rich is just going to keep guarding this situation. You want this in front of the red so that Korea can't use it, can't tap it or run it back or anything.
It's a pretty good spot.
That's right where they wanted it.
Kim looking at just hitting and rolling off of that yellow in the button.
Yeah, I think he's looking at going into the house to try and set up a score of a couple here. Doesn't want to give up a steal to ruin it. I think wants to make sure he scores here. Going up 2 into the 8th end is a pretty comfortable position.
This one needs to move a bit.
I think it's going to just get a piece.
Enough to get it out.
Yeah, they'll lose their shooter too, though. Throw the same draw that Croy did. See if maybe they can get this a little more under cover.
Ooh. Sweepers are saying that it's back house.
Yeah, it's running like it's a little heavy too.
Still second shot, but not in the best position.
Yeah, Colin apologizing for that one. Just put a bit much mustard on it out of his hand. Kim is now looking for the probably hit and roll under their corner. Could try to maybe make the quiet double too.
It's gonna be close. Just the one, but
it just makes the roll into the corner. Great shot.
Yeah.
Even though there's not shot, they're second and third, but both in great positions. Rich left with no choice but to play the come around. Absolutely critical that you get by the top red. You have to get by. Even if you're deep, you can get down and freeze on your back one and not be in a bad position, but you can't afford to tick and roll open.
Sweepers like the weight. This one needs to check up a little bit here.
It's a pretty good shot.
Yeah.
Slips a little behind the button, but it's a good spot there. Korea not without many options except to follow that. Get in there and guarantee themselves of at least scoring this end.
This one's looking a bit heavy.
Heavy, ooh.
Does sit shot, but
Yeah. See what Rich wants to do here. You could just come to it. A dead freeze might be the best play.
yeah, any tap and roll, it would still leave the button available for Kim to draw down to it.
You could try and tap it through and sit 3. That's always an option. Of course, you might still leave the pin available for Kim to draw. Problem is, if you tap, I think you have to roll a bit, because if you leave it open, yellows will be close enough. You might see Kim throw a bunch of weight. He might be able to clear all of them if you do that. Looks like Rich is going to try to throw a heavy draw and try to tap this one. Maybe just back line. As far to the nose or even inside the nose if possible. Tap it to the back 12, sit 3. Make Kim throw another real tough shot to pick up a single. Rich's final stone of the 7th end.
This one needs to curl a bit. Oh,
Looks
there
like
it goes.
it's pretty good now.
Just can't tick off of that guard. Oh, what a shot.
Beauty.
Doesn't push it back into the 12, but
That's okay though. Sitting 2 and a tiny amount of room for Kim to get in there and score 1. Stone coming down for Team Kim from Korea. Basically needs to find the pin for 1.
weight looks close. Nice shot.
A pistol of a shot. What a draw.
Great read by the sweepers.
Puts it right on the money for 1 point. Kim is going to take a 6-4 lead over Ruonen. Ruonen's going to have the hammer and will need 2 to force an extra, or we'll need to get 3 to pick up the win and move on to the final. And we'll have that 8th end for you right after this. So back with the 8th end. Team Kim making a fantastic shot to pick up their 1. Drew right to the pinhole. Now leads by 2. Ruonen has the hammer. They need to get 2 to go to an extra end.
The other semifinal, Dunham picked up a single to go up on McCarville by 1, 5-4. They're also in the 8th end.
According to the original schedule, the championship final of this event was slated to start in about 15 minutes. I think we can safely say that's not going to happen. At this point, I would wager on 2:30 at the least, probably more like 3 o'clock. Korea bringing their 2nd stone into the house. Freezes it very much right in front of their current existing rock. Good shot. Rich isn't going to deal with those just yet. Going to have Phil throw a 2nd corner guard. Try to get these even. No problem. Needing to wait a shot to peel. Kim is going to throw a center guard on those 2 that are right in the top of the forefoot. Doesn't quite get over far enough to cover those 2. Still presents an effective obstacle right in the center.
Richie looking to maybe just tap those. Move them around a little bit, roll possibly.
Yeah, it depends. If you want to try and bounce off those and roll behind the corner, you probably got to throw more like hack.
Yeah.
You wouldn't even be disappointed if he saves one of those hanging around at the back of the rings as a possible catcher. He's got a pretty nice looking shot here.
A little bit of roll. A little too much roll.
That's a pretty good shot, though.
Yeah.
Stays for second, pushes that Korean stone all the way to the back of the 12-foot. Pretty much mission accomplished. Kim is still dead buried underneath that guard. So I think you're going to see him deal with the corner guard. That's exactly what he's playing. Watch out.
Who just straight nose.
Noses it. Ooh. Now. Choices. Richie could go under that again. Could go under his other one. Or he could freeze on the shot stone. I think looks like he's likely to freeze on the shot stone.
This is going to be close.
Mine's really, really good.
Nice shot there.
Absolutely perfect. Team Korea needs to be a little bit careful now. They got two in there, neither one easy to remove. They certainly don't want to give up three.
What shot do you like here?
You know, I was actually kind of thinking if it's worth running the center.
Yeah.
Run back double. That would mostly kill the end. Even if you just peel it off and don't get rid of either one, you're going to have a chance at the yellow double on your next one anyways if it's not in there. That's kind of what I was looking at.
What about even freezing on the yellow?
You could do that too. That's another option.
Not really sure what they picked here.
They could. Another shot I was thinking is you could actually just go around everything to like the back of the 4-foot back button.
Oh, true.
Be sitting two that way. That's kind of what this ice looks like.
Yeah. I noticed one of them tapping it, just guarding it too, but that seems kind of crazy.
I don't like the guard.
No. Not a whole lot of weight on this, though.
Oh, maybe they are guarding it.
Yeah.
Actually. Okay. Oh.
I'm not a big fan of that, but
That's ambitious, but, you know, hey.
If you cover it, it gets the job done. Richie would have to deal with it.
I mean, any strategy is a winning strategy as long as it wins you the game.
Yep.
You know? So successfully placed, and see how they like to deal with this. Discussing perhaps freezing another one on top of that situation, lining 2 up onto the button stone. Knowing that if they do that, they've got their choice of runbacks into that pile to for sure score at least the 2 they need to tie. One thing I'm sure they have in mind is they've got that corner guard off to the far right that is theirs that they could thin slash into there. Looking to make Team Korea sweat a little bit and worry about potentially giving up 3 in this end for the loss.
Ooh. Might be a bit heavy. Oh, it's checking up a little. It's close. Gonna get tapped a little bit.
Chap just a bit.
Oh, does not look happy about that.
No, he's really not. He just overthrew that just a shade. They're talking about just drawing one down into the pile. That's going to pretty effectively outcount that one on the side. I think it's going to take away most good chances for a 3. Enough rocks in play. I think Team Ruinen still has a decent pass at 2 yet. We're a few shots away from knowing how that's going to go.
Looks like we're on to Skip Stones in the other semifinal. It's looking pretty good. Looks like it's going to tap a little bit here.
It's got to finish up a bit more to get to where they want.
Ooh.
They tap the Ruinen Stone and firmly into second shot.
Richie looking at freezing or sitting right in front of their yellow one in the center. This is going to be Colin's second shot.
I think they might be looking at doing something with that tight red center guard. Driving it into that situation somehow.
Yeah, either that or hitting it into that the red in the top 8, getting rid of both of them. But
another potential thing you could do is hit that red that was just put there, as much of it as you can, just drive it into the yellow, stick it there. You'll push the Korean rock out of the forefoot and you'll be sitting your 2. And that is an option.
yeah, they just can't see a whole lot of that red one.
I think they were talking, again, they were talking about the normal weight straight back on the tight red center guard into those 2 also. That would also leave them sitting 2. I think they're trying to pick between those 2 shots right now.
I think playing on that center red one is a bit risky just because if you roll either direction, depending on how it would hit, the forefoot's going to be open for Korea to hit something.
Well, the thing is, if you try that and all you do is you take the center guard off, all they've got to look at is your frozen rock on theirs. They can't really do much with it. You have to get right to the nose of that, which means you have to get pretty close to the top, the high one. So they've decided on something here. Not sure what they've decided on.
They just going to draw another one in or guard it?
I doubt they're going to guard it.
Yeah, I would. Wouldn't seem right either.
I'm guessing they're just going to bring another one down into the pile there, maybe on
freeze.
top of 3rd shot, perhaps.
Yeah.
This has got to get off the corner. It will not.
Gonna end up being a guard.
Yeah.
Ugh. That doesn't really do them much.
Most assuredly not what they were planning to do.
Scott Dunham with his last rock, I believe, was looking at a run back, ended up crashing on a guard, leaving McCarville with 1 in the top 4 to draw for 2.
I think he's actually playing an open hit on.
Oh, is he playing the hit on the back one?
Yeah.
Okay.
He can hit 2nd shot and doesn't need to stick.
Okay.
That'll give him the 2 he needs to win.
Oh, I didn't see the other back yellow on there. And he's got it.
No mistake. So with that, McCarville is going to pick up the 2 he needs to defeat Scott Dunham and will advance into the final. And he will face the winner of our feature game here, either Rich Ruonen or Team Kim. Which technically is supposed to be starting right now, but will not be starting right now, obviously. Still all 4 skip rocks to go in this game. Team Ruonen playing yellow needs 2 to tie. Korea decided to just throw another guard, kind of half in, right in the center of that yellow and red, just to the left there.
Okay.
I want to take away any yellow tack, which I don't actually think is there anyways, because that yellow is about a full rock in front of the red. I think it's coming to where Rich may have not a lot left but to slash that corner and on the far right. This is just over the hog line and isn't really guarding anything.
Richie's still looking at hitting that yellow back into it.
I think he's actually maybe looking at that. I don't know if the yellow's there or
to pick the red off of the.
You've really got either one. I mean, you can drive the yellow into there and get rid of at least one. A little more dangerous is to fire that center red into there.
I think I like the red one a little bit better. There's not a chance of.
Maybe angle's a little better.
Yeah,
right?
that I don't think you could lose either of your yellows this way.
Yeah, it just seems like if you fire the yellow in there, there's a good chance you lose the one you're running and at least one of those that's in there.
This way, either hit the red into the yellow into the red, or red into red and clear those both out. But we'll see what happens here.
Looks like he's actually going to be crossing and trying to drive the yellow in.
Oh. Oh, boy.
Oh, I think they overswept it. Oh. Well, that angle is definitely gone now. That stone being even higher, that tight red guard's going to be in the way. So if I read this conversation correctly, I think Team Korea thinks that Ruinen's only real option is that corner slash on that guard on the right, that yellow into the pile, and I think they're actually going to try and guard that shot. Seen Rich talk to his teammates after that last shot. I think he thinks that it was on line to hit where they wanted, but then it suddenly backed up, straightened out. We're just trying to drop one in front of this yellow on the far right here, prevent any kind of angle slash.
This is curling quite a bit.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. You just got to cover the right side of the stone. That is in the right spot.
Perfect.
Only shot I see. Can you get to the nose of that center tight red guard?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Straight back. I mean, we've talked about that shot for a little bit now. I don't know if you can see enough of this red that's mostly buried And if you can throw it hard enough, I mean, I guess if you throw a lot of weight, if you just get by and make contact, you've probably got it. You got to throw it at least normal. Hit all you can see, which is not a lot. Just make contact with that red that's at the top 8, drive it into the yellow next to it, and drive the red shot stone out. And stick there for you, too. The concern is you got to hope that the yellow stone that they're hitting doesn't squirt off to the side. He has to make this to force the extra.
It's close.
Got a chance. Oh, and I think it
Got it.
just barely got enough. Wow.
What a shot.
That's amazing. What a great shot. Does just enough to get the 2 they need. And they're going to push them back, and we've got bonus curling for the semifinal here at the Asham U.S. Open. And we'll have that for you right after this. So back with an extra end here in the semifinal of the Asham U.S. Open of curling. Fantastic shot from Rich Ruonen. Gets his team the 2 they need to tie. Team Korea will have the hammer in this extra end, and they need to just make sure they score to move into the final, where the winner of this game will take on Mike McCarville. Team Korea is going to do everything they can to keep the middle open. Trying for all he's worth to get that out of play, because then it would have to go back, and it is very close. Ooh, and he does just get it to the sideline. So that stone goes right back where it was. I think he was a little excited about that.
Mm-hmm. Yes, he was. He was jumping up and down.
And no surprise, because as simple a shot as that appears, that could be the difference between winning and losing. Mm-hmm. It really could. I mean, loser of this game pockets $2,500. If you go to the final and lose, you pocket $3,500. I mean, that could, as coy as it might sound, that could easily be a $1,000 stone.
Yep.
So you definitely want to do all you can with it. So looking to establish a high center guard now. Don't want this very far over the hog line at all.
Great shot there by Phil.
Really nice. Finishes pretty hard just at the end there, but still nice 2 guards. Team Korea now going to play the come around.
This one hanging out a bit.
Got to go to get it buried. Settles just top 4, but doesn't really finish underneath the guards at all. So just looking to tap this back a couple of feet. Ideally get a little bit low and roll underneath the guards.
Yeah, kind of Christmas tree him a bit.
Yeah. Get this one out of the way because you know Korea is going to hustle up there and start peeling guards. You want to get one in there in a good position now.
It's close.
Don't think it's going to get any roll at
No.
all. Just tapped it straight back. Nothing wrong with that. Briefly considered hitting that stone, but I think he would be well advised to deal with at least one of these guards. Because you hit it and roll away, they're just going to draw around it again. Try to hit it a bit on the broom side, maybe catch the second one too, but make sure of one at least. Close.
Oh, boy.
It's hard to miss it by any less than that. So now Rich thinking, I want to throw a guard, but do I want to guard the one in the house or do I want to guard the guard? Yeah, I think I agree. You want to line up the guards. Don't worry about guarding that one in the rings. That's only biting the forefoot. You want this just over the hog line. An inch over the hog line is absolutely perfect.
Yeah, minimizing any chance for a double peel.
Yep. Ooh, 2-3 is pretty tight.
Sweepers don't like it. Checking up a bit here now. Yeah, not bad.
It's pretty good where it is.
Looks like a good 8 feet between them or so.
Yeah, there's a lot of distance. Very hard to double these and lose the shooter completely off the rings. They're going to try to hit this on the broom side, maybe get some action into the house. Well, that's about as good as you could make that. Rolls the shooter just off to the edge of the 4. So looking to put up a guard that is going to be just on the other side of the center line. More or less right in front of that yellow stone in the house, but Rich wants to leave it open.
Bit deep, but in a good spot.
Actually finish it just a little bit underneath that. Great shot. Kim not wasting any time, just going to have it peel off. I don't know if he can catch the one in the house, too. It's pretty tough.
Yeah, I don't think he's got enough of that yellow one to get that.
I don't think so either.
Oh.
No, it's just going to be the one anyways. And we'll put it back in the same spot.
It's close.
This one looks like it's just a fraction deeper than the other one. Pretty much exactly the same spot. Kim's going to call exactly the same shot. No mistake. She's just going to put it back in exactly the same spot again. So at this point, I'm going to say that the final will start at least at 3, possibly even say 3:15, 3:30.
They'll do a fresh scrape. A fresh scrape. I can't.
A what?
Oh, it's been a long day. Fresh scrape.
Yeah.
And let the teams rest up a bit between.
Rest up, get some food.
Yep. Phil trying to bend this one over.
Looks pretty good.
Yeah, right in the exact same spot.
That precision. That's precision play. I can't talk either.
No.
And once again, Kim's just going to peel it off. And then we'll see what Rich wants to do with his last one. I don't know if he's going to be content to just guard it because it's only biting the forefoot. You're going to have to hope that Kim misses a draw just to half 4, which I'm not really, odds don't seem good that he would. Kim already out of the hack, not wasting any time. No mistake. Now, conversation of what to do. Do you tap it and maybe try to roll buried just a hair? Try to Christmas tree stones in the house instead?
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's what they're looking at. Try to tap it back just a couple of feet maybe. But you want to cross the face so that the shooter rolls under the guard. You're not leaving a nose double, and you're only letting Kim see at most half of that rock. Make his last shot as difficult as possible. Colin made a decent point, too. You could always tap that one kind of to the side, and tap it buried and roll the shooter right to top of the 8-foot and make Kim's shot difficult that way. I think with that ice, they're going to play Rich's original call. Tap it back a foot or two, but most importantly, cross the face.
I like this call.
Yeah, me too. I guess that's your best chance.
Yeah, especially, you know, they've played down this path now, what, 4 times?
Yep, they know the line. They should really know the weight, too.
Just a hair more weight, and they got it. Sweepers like the weight. Oh.
Line looks
There it
perfect.
goes.
Really finishing hard. Oh, man. That's just painful.
That really took off at the end there.
Took off so hard and ends up bumping it just fully open. How close to absolute perfection was that?
Kim's left with a nose hit to score 1 for the win. He's got a little bit of room to roll if need be.
This is really moving. Oh,
I think he's got it.
Oh,
wow.
Just barely. What great sweeping to even get that by.
What a game.
What a game. What a great finish. So Kim is going to pick up an extremely hard-fought extra end win over Team Ruinen, and they'll move on to the final. They'll take on Mike McCarville, and we are going to have that final for you at a time to be determined. I would wager probably 3:30 is my thought. I'd keep an eye on the Ashland U.S. Open and Curling Facebook page for updated info on that.
It might also show up on the stream here.
It may also show up on the actual stream idle screen here, so just keep your eyes peeled for that. We will have that for you when it starts. Until then, this is Sean and Evan signing off, and we'll see you for the final.
Thank you.